Now, here in Nigeria, the abduction of children has rather depressingly become a regular occurrence. There have been 2 kidnappings involving children in 24 hours in Kaduna State in the northwest. The first on Sunday, at least 8 people, including a 1-year-old, were taken from a hospital in the city of Zaria. Then hours later, a school was targeted by armed men who took some 150 students and disappeared into the surrounding forest. It's the latest wave of violence in a region that's become known for kidnapping for ransom. More than 1,000 students have been abducted from schools in northern Nigeria since December. Sadly, 9 of them have been killed and at least 300 are still missing. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the lawyer, security consultant and former director at the Department of State Security, Nigeria's secret police, Barrister Mike Ejiofor. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. This is something of a plague in Nigeria now, isn't it? I mean, a lot of it is happening in the north, but it's no longer limited just to that region. How dominant is the issue of kidnapping now on the agenda in Nigeria, given that it's become virtually an everyday affair in this country?
Well, it's quite unfortunate and very sad indeed. School children kidnapping in the northwest, kidnapping in the south, in the southeast, and it's everywhere. It's a very disturbing development. And I believe we should put in more efforts to see that this scourge is checked. And
of course, Kaduna appearing to be particularly vulnerable with lots of kidnappings and the security forces seemingly unable to protect the populace. Why are things so bad in Kaduna?
Well, I think a lot of reasons account for what is happening in Kaduna. Granted that you don't negotiate with kidnappers or terrorists.
Well, you're not supposed to, but people do.
We're not supposed to, but you know, the governor is not helping matters because he has come out openly. In fact, you see, in governance, there are certain things you do without making pronouncements. But the governor comes out to tell you, I'm not going to pay, even if my wife is kidnapped or my child is kidnapped, I'm not going to pay. So you are daring these people. And
so you think he should have kept it quiet, even if that's a policy that he's going to adopt?
As a strategy. And he even made an open show of registering his child in a private public school. And now the heat is on him. He has withdrawn the child without telling anyone that is under threat. So if you can withdraw your child, what happens to other children?
Well, that's the question. What hope is there for the ordinary person?
Exactly. If the chief security officer feels threatened and the child is not protecting the school, what about the ordinary man on the street?
Well, presumably that's why they've taken the decision to close quite a number of schools that are, I think they said, anyone that's further than 30 minutes away from a security post will be closed down.
That is not going to help issues because these people are daring. They are very well organized. And I feel for, you know, the citizens and security agencies too on their own part who cannot continue to say this every day. They are under and ill-equipped, you know, to tackle this challenge. These are simple issues because if we adopt and deploy technology like drones, when these people are coming, you should be able to see them. If you ask some of them, they will tell you, yes, we have drones. But drones, what data are they collecting? The quality of drones that they have.
Yeah, but what we would like you to help us understand, because you've been there. I mean, you were not just an ordinary person, you were a director at the State Security, the DSS, the Department of State Security. I mean, apart from the fear that all of this puts in the hearts of parents and, you know, friends and relatives and so on, one of the biggest effects of this spate of kidnappings is that it demonstrates the absolute limits of government capacity. and those limits are manifested in the security services. I mean, that's a bad message from a government to send out to its populace, isn't it?
It's a bad message indeed, because the primary purpose of government is welfare and security of the people. You can see hardly can people travel now on the roads. No confidence to travel.
Yeah, but the problem we have is that all the security people, including yourself, I mean, you obviously don't work for the DSS anymore, but you're a security consultant. There is everybody identifies what the problem is, tells us that people can't drive on the roads, they can't do this, they can't do that. We're asking for solutions. You were in the DSS for many years, you rose to be a director. What is the solution?
Well, like I said, we need to deploy more of technology than manpower.
Right. So why aren't they deploying more technology?
I think for now, if you saw the last interview by Mr. President, you know, on Arise Television, incidentally.
Good God.
So he said within 2 weeks, there will be a change. And you know that some of these technologies too are not things you buy off the shelf. Others are placed. Take, for instance, the issue of Tucano that has been ordered. It will take, some of them will take 3-4 years to arrive here. So I think our
drones don't take 3 or 4 years.
No, I'm talking of the Tucano drones. They don't.
Right.
They don't. Within 3 months, you have some quality drones. But what we're asking, it boils down again to leadership and corruption. What quality of drones are they buying? If you look for quality drones, you know, the ones, I think I know of some that can, you know, deploy to fly up to 20,000 feet and with real-time data.
Right, but when you were at the DSS,
yes,
clearly there were still issues with security in Nigeria. What would be the process for getting equipment? I mean, how frustrating was it for you when you were there trying to get things that you need to get the job done?
Now we didn't have these type of challenges when I left the service. While I was in the service, we had more of political problems. You know, in Zamfara, I was a director in Zamfara as far back as 2006. You talk of cattle rustling. Nobody was talking of this banditry and kidnapping.
It was armed robbery, though.
There was not much. At least I was in Zamfara. But what we were doing is cattle rustling, mostly, and robbery as at that time. But what we have now is multifaceted, multidimensional, that you are looking at this one is...
So you think the security services are overwhelmed?
They are not overwhelmed, but we have a lot of...
Well, clearly they are, because they're not giving us solutions to the problem.
They are giving solutions. And if you also get to know what they are doing and the arrests that are made, and that is why I want to encourage them, you know, to show some pictorials to serve as deterrent to others. You know, but with this broadcast control and regulation, there are some graphic pictures you cannot show, you know, like
yeah, but you can tell us. I mean, you can. They can improve their communication with the public.
When you hear that 10,000 or 1,000 or 800 bandits have been killed, Nigerians doubt that.
Yeah, but it still doesn't make a difference. That's why they doubt it.
It makes a difference because it's reducing the number of people.
Well, I mean, they doubt it because they are not seeing the commensurate impact in the reduction of number of abductions and kidnappings.
Right, because the thing is on the rise and it's quite disturbing.
And to be honest with you, what is perhaps more worrying for people is that they see the security services. Whenever people go out to protest, for example, you see the security services strutting around with all kinds of equipment. I mean, using live bullets to shoot at people who are unarmed and protesting against what they see as bad governance. I mean, they get all hecked up when this kind of thing, when ordinary people are on the streets. But then, you know, you're shooting at citizens. You know, you're doing things like that, you know, people repressing their constitutional rights to protest, to express freedom of expression. But, you know, you're unable to protect them from the menace of abductions? I mean,
You see,
it doesn't make any sense,
I
does
agree
it?
with you. You know, some of government functionaries to make some statements, unguarded statements, where some top government functionary, I don't want to go personal now, will come and tell you, defend yourself. How do you defend yourself with people who carry AK-47 and all kinds of weapons, and they ask you defend yourself? How do you defend yourself? And for the issue of, you know, it is a constitutional right to carry out protest, peaceful protest anywhere. But you will remember what happened during NSAS, that these things always hijacked. The intentions of the organizers or promoters of such protests might be genuine, but along the line, it will be hijacked. So that's why I feel that, but not using live bullets. I'm against that.
Right. Okay,
what I want is that people should be protected while protesting. Let them express themselves. But a situation where you begin to use live bullets on people, in addition to the problem they are already having, they are traumatized, and they can't still express themselves. You don't beat a child and say you shouldn't cry. So that's my situation.
So what do you think that the Sunday Igboho incident that happened in the Southwest, do you think that falls into that category of the heavy-handedness of government?
No, definitely. You know, I've had a lot of commentaries on that, you know, on the Sunday Igboho's things. Don't forget that the press conference was held in the national headquarters of the State Security Service. And the title of that thing was the joint operation. So it's not as if it's a State Security Service sole operation. It's a joint operation. And even some senior lawyers will come and tell you that we invaded the house. There's no way. And I can tell you on authority that there's no way the State Security Service can go and search a premises without a certified search warrant. But, you know, as investigation will go, I think it will be it will be revealed that fire was opened on them. I wasn't there,
right, okay.
So it's hearsay.
No, obviously, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But Mike, it's always brilliant talking with you. Thank you very much indeed. Mike Ejiofor is a barrister and a security consultant and a former director of the Department of State Services in Nigeria.